everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of I Am Cameroon. This morning, we're doing it a little different. I know you're used to seeing a panel and the whole 9 yards, but we are choosing a different format today. So, I Am Cameroon, we have existed for a couple of years, and during our existence, we have had a very dedicated founder and former president. So we will be talking to him this morning about leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce to you Arrey Obenson. He's the president and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis and the founder of I Am Cameroon, and also a very accomplished author of the book Bridging the Opportunity Gap, which is a very good read, by the way. So, Arrey, good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, Ari, before we start, I wanted to ask you, who were you rooting for the African Cup of Nations? I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Yes, I was rooting for Cote d'Ivoire all the way, and so I was very, very happy when Cote d'Ivoire won. Obviously, if Cameroon was in the finals, I should have been rooting for Cameroon, but absent Cameroon, I really wanted Cote d'Ivoire to win, and it was almost fortuitous because the last goal was scored by Hela, who 2 years ago had cancer, and we never imagined that he'll be able to play soccer again. So I think that at the end of the day, and if we looked at the statistics, you would say that the best team of both teams, Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria, that played,
Mhm.
the best team won. So
That's right. That is absolutely right. Our in-laws, they call them in French La Belle Famille. So they brought the victory home. So yes. And Ari, you have been uh, a pillar of the I Am Cameroon movement. You started this movement in 2013. Yeah.
correct.
So 2013, you thought about this movement, and the purpose of this is to advance Cameroon to a certain direction, to empower its citizens, to educate the Cameroonians that we could be better, we could do better. In all of this time, you had been the president of this association, you had been its leader. So, in your opinion, what is leadership? What does leadership mean to you with all of these achievements under your belt? I mean, from JCI to the International Institute of St. Louis to I Am Cameroon. You've been a leader for more than a decade. So, what is leadership to you?
Yeah, leadership to me is the ability for one to inspire another to believe and follow a vision or a mission that is bigger than themselves. It is having the ability to inspire someone to think beyond the ordinary and to do something or follow a vision that leads to a common purpose. For me, that's what leadership is. Obviously, there have been lots of definitions, and for many people, they see and imagine and think about leadership from positions that we occupy, badges that we have, or appointments that we have. But it's more than that. It is more than that in my opinion. And in my definition of leadership, you can lead anywhere that you are. You don't necessarily have to be at the top or in front of the pack to be the leader. You could inspire somebody at the back of the pack to believe in the common purpose of the group. So everyone can be a leader wherever they are.
So, it's safe to say that everyone watching this broadcast right now is a leader. They just need to believe it, have a vision, and go for it.
Yes, they have to believe it, but it goes beyond themselves, right? It
Mhm.
it it boils down to them having the ability to inspire another person to believe in a purpose that is bigger
Yes.
than themselves.
Hmm. And also, for everyone watching this morning, this is also an intense learning session for me because Arya is a great leader, and every chance you get to pick his brain, you definitely learn something. So, this is also a learning session for me. So, I am happy to do this. So, now let's talk about your experience in the I Am Cameroon organization. So, you have been there, like I said in the beginning, you've been there from the start. We've undergone so many phases. The most important one was during COVID. We went through a lot of changes. We had some projects on the ground. We've gone from providing some PPIs for medical facilities back home in Cameroon to the cleaning campaign that just took place last year. So, if you have to sum up your experience leading the organization since 2013, what would you say it is to you?
I would start by using the word growth. For me, it has been a profound opportunity of growth. It has been the biggest social
Mhm,
experiment in my life to get an understanding of the challenges and opportunities of our country, the nature of our people, how they think and act,
mhm,
understanding really some of the intricacies of that it's easy to look at things superficially, but having the opportunity to be part of this movement has given me a lifetime experience engaging with Cameroonians at all levels, understanding their realities, and being able to work with them to come up with numerous solutions
mhm,
that has enabled many young people to grow, to be more confident, to have different aspirations about their future. Many that have gone on to succeed in their individual businesses or initiatives that they're working on, engaged the government leaders, engaged community leaders, engaged young people on university campuses. I think it's given me the ability to grow, and out of that growth, I think the most experience that I've had is one of gratification, knowing that I may not have changed the country, I may not have gotten to where Cameroon should be, but I'm gratified that I've played a part and that every conversation that I've had has been one that has touched a life, maybe changed hearts, and made a difference in the process. For me, that has been the beautiful experience that I've had. I can also talk about challenges because it's not always been
yeah,
easy.
yeah, definitely.
It's sometimes it has been disheartening as well to see that, because one of the things that really inspired the creation of this movement is the fact that I had the opportunity, I've been blessed to travel extensively. And of the numerous conversations that I was having with Cameroonians across the world, as well as in Cameroon, it was always about the things that are wrong.
Hmm.
It's been 10 years later and there's still things wrong. But in those
Right.
10 years, instead of just talking about the things that are wrong, we've been trying to do something. Now, I wish we had a multitude of people joining us and doing this, right?
Hmm.
Because the people who told me 10 years ago that things were wrong, if they had joined forces for us to start doing things, 10 years later, we would have built a movement that would be stronger than the mighty ocean, that will
Yeah.
be leading the change that is needed in our quartiers, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our hospitals, that change that was unnecessary, not necessarily had to be brought by government, but by us, we, the people. And so it's been disheartening, but for me, I've not I've not been bogged down by the fact that 10,000 people have not showed up for one event, or 10,000 people have not come to one of our shows, or 10,000 people have not come to our convention. For me, I've always looked at it as if there is one person that can show up, that's one person that we've made a difference. A house is built
Mhm.
brick by brick, and that's what we've been doing in the last 10 years.
Brick by brick. You so, ladies and gents, you have to get used to Ari being very passionate when talking about Cameroon. We are looking at someone who is a true patriot and loves his country, I'm happy to see it, and I'm so glad for the I Am Cameroon movement, because this is what we are encouraging, for more people to take action, for more people to join the fight of making Cameroon a place where we want to see. What are some of the lessons that you have picked up or learned throughout your mandates that starting 2013 to now, which I think we didn't mention. So Arrey is an outgoing president
Yeah.
of I Am Cameroon. So he has handed the baton to our new president, Bambot, and subsequently we will be talking to Bambot, and we'll be getting his vision, his new vision for I Am Cameroon. But for now, Arrey, as you are handing over this baton to Bambot, what has been your lessons learned all through these years?
I think the first lesson that I'm going to share with everybody is keep your eye on the prize. Never lose sight of the goal.
Mhm.
For on this journey, is going to be treacherous. There'll be so many distractions, and so many people will tell you it is impossible. Never lose sight of the vision. Stay focused. I think that's the number one lesson. Secondly, I think one of the greatest qualities of leadership is your ability to listen, and not to arrive at conclusions, not being the first to conclude, but always being the last to summarize the thoughts. Because if you come to the table with an idea, it probably in your mind is the best idea. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, if you listen to five other ideas, I bet you that your idea could still be the best, but it will be enhanced by the many other ideas. More importantly, giving people the opportunity to take ownership, to contribute. So, leadership, we must listen more than we speak when we lead. When we lead. So, those are two important. My final lesson is that if the task was easy, somebody else will do it. The task is
Right.
difficult because you have been called upon to take on the task. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's always going to be challenging, but with conviction, you will always prevail over the obstacles that stand in your way.
I have my notebook and my pen, and I hope that everyone watching this also has the notebooks and their pen. That is a perfect summary of your mandate. And yes, listening to not respond or to not be right is very important as a leader. If not, you will get a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
So, and being someone who's in a leadership position, whether you like it or not, you're a role model to someone. Someone is looking up to you, especially maybe someone from a younger generation is watching your footsteps and be like, oh, I want to be like Ari, I want to make a change like Ari. I want to be able to gather people for a very important cause that pushes the country forward. So, as a leader, as a successful leader at that, not just a leader, what are the tips and advice you have for young Cameroonians, especially the ones in the diaspora, because they're the ones who have to bring forward this change and development back home and convince everyone to get on board. So, what would be your advice to them?
Well, my advice to everyone that wants to see change, that wants to see this social transformation in Cameroon, that believes that Cameroon can be better, that our better days are ahead, I say to them that do not wait for tomorrow, that the time is now to take action. There is no right time to make a difference. Every time is the right time, and so that time is now. I always tell people that you are at best when you continue to be exemplary when the lights are turned off the stage. When you what you do in private that contributes to the advancement of society is really what makes the difference. So when we shouldn't play to the gallery, do not always wait for the moment for the spotlight to be on you before you take action. Because I tell you what, the spotlight is always on you. You may
Always.
not know it. So every word, every action, every deed that you do is being an exemplary citizen and an exemplary leader. So make the difference wherever you are and do not wait for tomorrow because the time that we have here is not too long. So every minute counts.
It does count indeed. And speaking of young people, Ari, there's always a new slang on maybe TikTok or Instagram. So when it comes to Cameroon, there's this new slang that they call Cameroon, le continent. Have you ever heard about that?
No, no, some vraiment le continent.
No,
Come on, lady.
exactly.
Yes, yes. And in that regard, it may be seen as a joke. It may be said as a joke. But if
Mhm.
we look at Cameroon, I've had the opportunity to travel to at least 34, I've lost count, at least 34 African countries. And what I've observed in all of these countries, the reality is that it's found in Cameroon. And let me use a clear example. If you traveled from the north of Cameroon, you're traveling through desert, and then you get into, then you know, the Sahel region, then you get into the grasslands, and then you get into the tropical forest, and
Rainforest.
then you get to the coast. Now, across Africa, there's hardly any country that has all of this in one
Mhm.
country. We speak English and we speak French, which across Africa, there is hardly any country that does this.
No.
Both of the languages that are mostly spoken on the continent. We have Bantus and semi-Bantus in Cameroon. That's what Africa is made of. It's Bantus and semi-Bantus all are in Cameroon. That's why we have pygmies and all of that. So we have all of that in Cameroon. Let's talk natural resources. The big four, as we think about the big four in terms of animals, we have lions, the elephants, the everything is found in Cameroon. And now let's go below the soil.
Mhm.
From oil to diamond to gold to bauxite to aluminium, we have it in Cameroon. In agriculture, we have all of that in Cameroon. Even when we talk about in terms of soccer, I know we've not been performing well lately, but the record. of a country with the highest contribution to development of soccer of football on the continent is Cameroon. So with all of that, we may take this as a joke that we are the Le Continent, but I
Mm-hmm.
wish we could believe in it. I wish we could put that in practice. I wish we could raise Cameroon to the standards that the entire continent looks at Cameroon with the envy that we're looking at Rwanda today. I wish that is what we can do for Cameroon. But for us to do this, we need 5 million leaders in each one of you to come out and be part of this movement so that we can take this dream that we have and make it a reality.
Brick by brick, you said, Ari. Brick
Brick
by
by brick.
brick.
Yeah.
And to put your first brick, you can go on I Am Cameroon website, www.iamcameroon.org, and register as a member. Sign up for the newsletter, keep your eyes on the website, and partake in all the activities. The fees to join are on there. You can join from anywhere in the world, especially in Cameroon. So it's all out there. It's all available if you want to be a part of this movement, which we strongly advise that you should, because I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? So, Ari, speaking of Cameroon being low continent, I'm gonna put you on the spot again.
Okay.
So, one of the things that Cameroon is known for is its very rich culinary history. So I'm going to ask you two questions. The first
Okay.
one is you have to choose one. You cannot choose both. You have to choose one. So, Ndole or Ero?
Kine Konepalo Eru is there. I'll go with Eru.
Okay, okay. Now, the next one, the Cameroonian street food. So, roasted fish or BHB? BHB is beignet, haricot bouilli, so puff balls and beans.
Oh man. Oh man. So which one is the street fish? You mean if I went to um Bas Naval, for example, is
Yeah,
that so that fish? Or
yeah.
did you mean the what we call Morocco?
So the
Mackerel.
Morocco, the mackerel, even the fresh fish just caught right off out of the Mongo, all included.
Okay. All right. I mean I would go with fresh fish
I you
anytime,
have
but
to choose one.
I would choose the fresh fish.
The fresh fish, good
Yeah.
choice, good choice.
Painfully because I also love Benyeriko.
I love beignet haricot. I mean, who doesn't love beignet haricot, right? It's such a
Yeah.
delicacy. I have one last question. I promise this is the last one.
Okay.
So, if you had to do this all over again, that means if you had to have another mandate as the president of I Am Cameroon, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't have taken it for granted that our country would not necessarily end in the conflict that it is in today. One of the reasons I was committed to starting a movement was because in my travels, I had seen this coming towards Cameroon from Mali to Niger to Chad to Central Africa. And I knew that there was something coming to Cameroon and that we needed to mobilize people to think of themselves as Cameroon and more patriotic Cameroonians. If I had the chance to go back again and do this, I think I would be more committed to being almost an evangelist about the purpose of working, of taking ownership, of being actors rather than spectators in our common destiny. That's what I would do differently. I would evangelize about the need for us to live together, to work together towards a common purpose. Because at the end of the day, we have lost so much in the last 7 years that has taken us 25 years backwards, and it would take us a long time to recover. But we must not lose hope. We must believe in what lies ahead of us. And so that's what I would do differently. I would really be a lot more aggressive in pursuit of active participation in the development of our communities. That would be the one thing that I would do differently.
Well, you are still very much an active part of the I Am Cameroon Executive Board. So we will be seeing a lot of you and hearing a lot from you as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this amazing broadcast this morning. Array, you're a good sport. Thank you so much for participating in our little games in between. And most
Yeah.
of all, thank you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom when it comes to um, leadership or being an effective leader. So, do you have any message for our incoming President Bambo this morning?
Well, all I would say is march march on despite the obvious challenges, despite the obvious distractions. Have a strong conviction in our common destiny, and we will get there. We'll also be here to give you all the support that is needed for us to keep this idea whose time has come.
Thank you so much, Ari. Have a lovely Saturday, and hopefully, we get to see you again on our next I Am Cameroon call. This was amazing. Thank you so much for joining. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.
Bye.